at work yesterday for about 30 seconds before a man wanted to test me. Poor thing had no idea it was about to come to him, but... So I go back to the kitchen, minding my own business, and he goes, Carly, I gotta tell you something. So I know this is about to be good. And he goes, you know, I don't like your eyebrows. You could tell you have makeup on them, they're kind of dark, and I just don't like them. So I respond with, wow, that's embarrassing. And he's like, oh my God, no, don't be embarrassed. I just want to give you that constructive criticism because I care about you. And I'm like, oh no, Gregory, you've mistaken me. I'm not embarrassed. I just think it's embarrassing that a man who's 30 years older than me, bald, married, and missing half his fucking front teeth wanted to look at me and criticize my appearance. That, baby, that's embarrassing.
And guys, on today's next episode of Things That Never Actually Happened, we once again have this lady describing to us her life problems and issues. Now, what you'll notice, guys, is a lot of these people, it sounds as though the situations are made up. Because a lot of times they damn well are. Guys, when people make videos like this, it's all about attention. That's all it really is. Now, I've got nothing against this lady in particular, but a lot of times, guys, you have to look at this objectively and you think to yourself, wow, did this really even happen? Okay, because girls will, what they'll do is it doesn't matter so much if the attention is positive or negative. All that matters really at the end of the day is the fact that they get attention at all. Guys, we're going to be jumping into today's video, having a look at some TikToks, some stories and stuff like that, and I believe we have a couple of bangers in here for you today. But guys, before we crack into it, a couple of announcements. Number one, this channel is on some thin ice. We have been warned about some content of ours that goes against community guidelines, despite the fact that they haven't told us what guideline it has gone against. So that's super awesome. So guys, if you like the channel, consider supporting over on Patreon. You don't have to, of course, but I'm also going to be setting up over on, over on Locals. I know a lot of you guys don't like Patreon, and for good reason. So I'm getting a community verified over there, guys. So hopefully we can kind of set up shop over there as well, similar to Mr. Better Bachelor. Because guys, YouTube, quite frankly, doesn't like channels like this. It doesn't like men talking to each other. It doesn't like the fact that men are actually comparing notes on this sort of stuff. Now, you know, we might look at TikToks like this and think that they're a bit of a giggle, guys, but you'll notice a lot of the stories that I kind of cover over here, a lot of the videos that I cover, they're not so funny, okay? Because at the end of the day, the people who get real hurt by it are usually the men. Okay, particularly the men who have no idea what's going on, who don't know about marriage and stuff like that. And guys, I'm going to get into today's show momentarily here, but just a tiny little snippet, a story, guys, is, you know, on my Facebook today, guys, and I never go on there. I hate the app, but, you know, sometimes you check through the feed, right? And I saw this guy, and the man was getting a law degree, right? And I knew him. And he got married the other day, and I thought that was a terrible idea. And he got married to a single mother who had a kid, who had a kid by a different man, obviously. And I just couldn't help but think to myself, man, that's really a concerning situation for him to be in. And I looked at it, guys, and the situation looks a hell of a lot different when you watch videos like mine all day and we go through stuff like this. Because she went to law school, I guarantee you, specifically to find a man like that she could rope down and, you know, help secure her future, guys. Like, this whole dating game, gentlemen, it's no longer a game, right? Like, men are really starting to wake up to this stuff. But anyway, I've ranted on long enough. I've been waffling in the wise words of Mr. Fish. But guys, if you're new here, you're liking the videos, make sure you subscribe on your way in. Come and join the Discord, link in the description. And as always, guys, if you'd like to support the channel, the link to the Patreon is somewhere below the video. Like I said, again, I'll be trying to set up Locals. I'm also considering Odyssey and BitChute and stuff like that. But the reason why I haven't really used them, guys, is just because the exposure is so damn low. But, you know, we will be taking a look at Locals and stuff like that as we continue to go forward. But guys, we're going to jump into today's second TikTok as I pull it up momentarily for us here today.
You deserve...
Oh, goodness, you already heard it. Oh, no.
Someone who has plans on marrying you one day. Love is not a game. It's an investment, commitment. You know, as a man, you should look at your girl as the mother of your future babies. She could be your girl for a lifetime. She'll be the mother of your child, partner, and best friend in one. If you can't picture her walking down the aisle towards you with teary eyes, leave her alone. If you can't picture yourself out buying your first house, your dream car, and building a family with her, then leave her alone. If marriage isn't the goal, then what's the point? Think long term. You deserve.
Alright guys, I mean, we already know what this is, okay, but we're going to be going through it, addressing it point by point, and I apologize if I sound a bit drowsy, guys. This is the second or third time I've recorded this particular video, and you already know, like, I'm sure many of you know watching this video, you're finding it hard to get through already, but man, watching these TikToks for a second time is something else. But we're going to be addressing his points one by one, guys. Feel free to leave your comments and thoughts in the below. I'm likely to miss a whole bunch of things, and there's many different levels we could take this. So be sure to leave your thoughts and your personal experiences as well. But we're going to kind of break it down piece by piece. So you deserve someone who has plans on marrying you one day. Again, just opening up straight with the I deserve or you deserve. Call me a cynical person or call me whatever, guys, but I don't think that people are entitled to anything just by default. I think that stuff like respect and all of that it's stuff that's earned, okay? You're not deserving of a partner that's just going to be with you for life and solving all your problems for you and all this kind of... You're not deserving of anything from other people, okay? It's like... And I'll use my channel as an example, guys. Like, I'm not entitled to any of you guys watching the channel. I'm not entitled to any of you guys signing up at the Patreon. I'm not entitled to any of you guys just not clicking off the video or leaving a mean comment. You see where I'm going with this, gentlemen? It's like people seem to forget that there are other people on the planet aside from themselves that are capable of forming opinions. You see, and it's like the people who really lose out on this stuff as well, like is the girls. The girls actually lose out on this quite a bit because they'll go around, with the entitlement, thinking that they deserve all these things. And man, when reality hits, it hits real hard, man. Like, I'm sure many of you guys have seen, Fresh and Fit has a notorious video on this of the girl, the title is something like, "This is what the wall looks like." Like, man, it comes hard and fast for these girls, okay? Like, it's... But again, deserving someone, entitled to this, entitled to that. Yeah, I don't really subscribe to it.
Deserve someone who has plans on marrying you one day. Love is not a game. It's an investment, commitment.
No, see, you might have used to have been able to, say that and get away with it. But the problem now is that men are wisening up, right? Like, these people want to pretend as though love is just like this lovey, pleasant thing that everyone can have and everyone has free access to. Let me tell you this, guys. If you're a guy and you're not that high up in society, maybe you don't earn a lot of money, maybe you're not tall, maybe you don't look too good, maybe you don't have a lot of friends or something like that, you will notice that love is something that is very hard to come by. You see, love is something that is not, for the most part, freely given. It is a trade. It is a game. Okay, and I know that sounds very cynical to a lot of you, particularly if you're new to the videos, guys, but I think a lot of gentlemen get into relationships with the wrong idea, that person is, going to be theirs forever and always be there by their side. And at the end of the day, gentlemen, human beings are serial monogamists. Okay, women, there's a law, and I said it incorrectly a few videos ago, or my voice must have cut off or something, because everyone was asking what I said, but if you guys want to look it up, it's called Briffault's law, Briffauts, something like that. Briff. Guys, women get into relationships for a reason. Okay, it's to derive some sort of benefit. I don't care how many people are walking around out here saying, love is just this thing that, it's just it's just something that has no direction. It's aimless. It just finds you when it finds you. You're gonna find the one. That information is so useless to men, so absolutely useless, and it is so harmful as well, because you're giving men no tools to navigate the dating market. And hell, that's not even considering the fact, guys, like, if you're a man that's growing up in a broken family, like, you're gonna have no access to this kind of information. You're just gonna believe this stuff. You're gonna think that, it's all about how much you can invest and provide and commit, and you're going to get so screwed over, it is unbelievable.
As a man, you should look at your girl as the mother of your future babies. She could be your girl for a lifetime. She'll be the mother of your child, partner, and best friend in one.
Yeah, no. You see, again, these are not things that are very easy to find these days. Excuse me. Because what's happened is, with the rise of social media especially, with the change in our culture, you know, supporting all this stuff, which we won't go into too in depth here, guys, is like, um, you're at a point now as a man where like someone's attention, someone's, you know, admiration for you, a girl I'm talking about here, like in a relationship, it's so flimsy that she's always going to be keeping her eye up for the next best option. Okay, she's always going to be looking for that next better deal and stuff like that. And this comes from the fact that girls get a lot more attention than men do. Okay, we are, as guys, you can't really afford to be throwing out options and stuff like that. There's another video which we might cover here if we have time, or I might do articles or something like that. But gentlemen, you're going to see a lot more of a rise of polyamory. Okay, you're going to see the guys at the top of the food chain. They're going to, you know, have a group of girls that they see, and then also you're going to have the guys who are at the bottom of the food chain. What's going to end up happening is they're going to share the girls at the bottom of the food chain. You see what I'm saying? So you're going to get girls who have their little rotations, except it's going to be overt, so you're going to actually be able to see it. I mean, if you guys have been paying attention to the dating scene at all, you already know we got ladies out here growing out their armpit hair, coloring their what are they called, the eyebrows, and getting into relationships with multiple men, you know, in full view of the public sphere. Okay, like this stuff is really changing, guys. So don't give me any of this like, oh, if you aiming for marriage. Aiming for marriage is a terrible thing to do in 2021. Like as a man especially, you're just asking for trouble.
If you can't picture her walking down the aisle towards you with teary eyes, leave her alone.
Yeah, and you think that women are going to go into dating with that same kind of so we as men, we're expected to go into dating, you know, just aiming for marriage, right? Which, keep in mind, guys, is legislatively speaking against us. So we're supposed to go into relationships aiming for marriage. And you think that women are going to extend that same kind of courtesy, you know, aiming for a long-term relationship? Guys, this may surprise you to know, but a lot of girls are not interested in long-term relationships. Like, girls want to have fun too. You know that song, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, right? It's like, that's damn well true. So why the hell am I sitting out here aiming for something that can potentially and is likely to harm me down the road when, you know, the same courtesy or the, you know, is not extended back to me? Like, you notice how, like, the position is always men are expected to give, like, just because, and if we don't, then we're a bad person. And, you know, giving and committing, that's what makes us a real man. That's what makes us a good person. I just think that's a really dangerous narrative to be sharing around, particularly to young guys. It's just, you're going to wind up in a whole lot of trouble.
If you can't picture yourself out buying your first house, your dream car, and building a family with her, then leave her alone.
How many divorced men in the comments, guys, will look at this, and you just think to yourself, well, that's another asset I can lose. That's another asset I can lose. That's another asset I can lose. Like, because that was my thought process. When he was listing these things off here, I'm like, okay, this is a liability, this is a liability, and this is a liability. You see, and I wish it weren't like that, guys. Like, I wish I could sit here and say, you know what, all of these things, if you want to go out there and do this, then that's going to be there for you until the day that you leave. But that's just not the case. In fact, the odds are kind of stacked against you on that one, as sucky as it is to say. And, you know, maybe you can go without your house and your dream car and stuff like this, guys, but not a whole lot of men can go without this one right here. You know, you lose that, you split that up. You know, then you kind of go down a path that's not really, like, a lot of guys will get into marriages knowing, hey, I can lose half of my stuff, I can lose half my house. But a lot of guys are really, this is the real kicker right here, like this one. And unfortunately, guys, that's just the way the courts are at the moment. And like that's just incredibly sad to see.
If marriage isn't the goal, then what's the point? Think long term.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say no on that one. Again, no hate towards any of the people that I make these TikToks about, guys, but let me just say no. My answer is no to this, and I don't think that men should be taking this on board at all. I think this is just another form of Derek Jackson, if you remember him, guys, basically, you know, selling this kind of narrative to women, and I think it's incredibly dangerous to dating in general. But guys, we're going to be jumping into this TikTok here, and I might have covered this on the channel before. My friend actually sent this to me before I started recording today's episode, and this has done its rounds on the internet. But it's just something I wanted to go over while we're on the subject, excuse me, of relationships being a trade, of love being a trade, a game. Excuse me. He used the words, "Love is not a game." Okay. Very interesting. But guys, we're going to jump into the story right here. And it is titled, My Wife and I Had an Agreement to Help Put Each Other Through School. Now that she's through, she's filing for divorce. Basically what the title says, my wife and I both wanted to pursue careers that require advanced degrees. We came up with a plan for each of us to work full-time while putting the other through school. For the past 5 years, I've worked to help put her through the last 2 years of her bachelor's degree and 3 years of law school. That is a pretty penny, gentlemen. She's graduating in May. In this time, I've covered all of our expenses, rent, utilities, as well as payments to her loans. At the end of this semester, there will be about $75,000 worth of loans that I am co-signed for. When I excitedly spoke of how much better things will be once she graduates, she was very non-committal and kept saying, we'll see, when I talked about applying for my program. 2 weeks ago, I was served with divorce papers. Guys, like, there are moments when I read these stories, man, where I honestly, like, I'm getting quite tired. Like I said, I've had to record this for a second time. But I don't feel like providing commentary a whole lot of times when I see this stuff. Like, I think that the words oftentimes speak for themselves, especially when you see them written by the person that these things happen to. And, like, this must be something that you go through, and you must think to yourself, wow, like, was I wrong about everything? Right? Because, you know, for those of you who watch Jordan Peterson, I'm a fan of Jordan Peterson. I don't mind his work at all. I think he contributes a lot to this field indirectly, I would say. But at the same time, you know, there are things, certainly room for disagreement. But one of the things he talks about, guys, is like when people betray you, when people cross you, backstab you, whatever you want to call it, these are moments when your whole world kind of falls apart. These are not moments where like, okay, well, I'm getting divorced. This is just something that I've got to deal with. This is a moment where you realize, hey, maybe my judgment about everything was wrong. And that's something that's so kind of frightening about this content that we put out over this side of the internet, guys, is like, you know, not to get all woo-woo and spiritual here, guys, you know, something I try and steer clear of on the channel, but maybe the world isn't what it seemed to be. You know, there seems to be a lot of hidden agendas, guys, when you start to dig through this stuff. There seems to be a lot of agendas out there that we as men weren't told about. Not only were we not told about them, we were encouraged to go out and seek and be in situations where they could be used against us. I don't know about you guys, but I don't feel particularly fantastic about this. Anyway, let's continue. I was completely blindsided by this, as you would be, my friend. When I asked her for an explanation, she simply replied that we'd been growing apart for a while and she needed to find her happiness. I found out this weekend that she met someone in school. He is the son of a named partner of a prominent law firm. She wants the student loan debt split 50-50 in the divorce. She is asking for no spousal support as she does not need it. When I responded that if she's going to be working as an attorney that I would be filing for spousal support, she called me a bunch of emasculating names and said, it's over, okay? You need to let me go and be happy for me. I have barely eaten or slept since this happened. I have a consultation with a divorce attorney on Wednesday. I just feel so hopeless. She hasn't worked in 5 years. Is she free to just walk away and leave me with nothing? I know that she has no income right now, but her earning will be significant in the future. Am I totally screwed? Guys, this is a thread, like I said, that has done its rounds, but I think it's important to talk about, okay? Because, you know, this kind of stuff is no joke. I mean it, guys. When we cover stories like this, girls can just leave at the drop of a hat. Like, do you think that these people are glued into relationships? Absolutely not. Again, we think that relationships are something that love is about. Well, what was it, guys? Like, love isn't a game. It certainly seemed like a game to this lady. Okay, and you want to talk about the dating scene right now? You want to talk about what people respond to, guys? You want to get into a discussion about dopamine and being polite? Man, that's a dark rabbit hole to go down, because I'll put it to you blankly, guys. Not a lot of girls out here are responding well to positive stimulus. And what I mean by that is, you want to go out here, you want to be a nice man, you want to get flowers, you want to take her on a date. Please understand that you're doing that at your own peril. And when I say peril, not just, down the line in marriage and stuff like that, but a lot of times when you do these sorts of things, you're actually just losing respect in the process. Because, guys, like, a lot of times in the day and age we live in, it's really sad to say, but nice actions just aren't appreciated. They just really aren't. But, guys, we're going to crack into this story and kind of wrap up the video with this. I found out my wife is telling other men that she's single. Hey everyone, I need a bit of advice. My wife is a 31-year-old female, and I, who's a 31-year-old male, have been married for nearly 12 years. That's up there. She's been registered disabled since 2012, and I've been her full-time carer since then. We have 2 children, one is 11 and one is 7. I recently found out she's been telling a male friend of hers that she's single. I knew she was talking to this guy. She started talking to him after meeting him on a game. Oh, like a PC game, right? I've never had an issue with her having male friends. In the messages to him, she said that I'm her ex, but I still live with her and am moving out this month. She has pretended to be intoxicated while talking to him and also made up stories about meeting someone else and having a fun encounter. She's also said things about her ex, whether she's actually talking about me or an imaginary ex, I'm not sure, and, saying some emasculating things. Now, this happened before a few times. The last time was with another guy years ago, and she had told him she was single and raising the kids alone, also pretended to be this way. She also used a photo of her in hospital after this situation to pretend that she was going through some rough patches. When confronted, she said that she was down to a certain kind of mania, which is bad around that time, and even brought it up to her doctor, so her remorse seemed genuine. This time was about 7 years ago with another guy. She again said she was single. She was talking this guy into a position where he would ask her on a date. The last time this happened, it broke me. I was in floods of tears to my carer support worker because it made me feel utterly worthless, and I never cry in front of everyone. I'm honestly struggling with what to do, as silly as it sounds. I'm guessing she is doing these things to elicit attention from other men, but I could not give her any more attention if I tried. I do everything around the house, care for the kids, get everything she needs, constantly compliment her. The first time this happened 7 years ago, we moved past it and I thought it may have been down to me not giving her enough attention. Again, notice, gentlemen, how the man always typically blames himself, because that is what we are trained to do. We are told, hey, you're not good enough, and that is why this is happening. But now I don't know what to think or do. She hasn't physically cheated, I'm sure of that, but it's emotionally unfaithful. I've lost friendships and can't work because of being a carer. I never make her feel like she's burdening me. We spoke before about how our lives are difficult and it's sometimes hard to balance the wife-carer dynamic, but that's no excuse for this. As far as I've been aware, we were absolutely fine. Any advice anyone can give would be great. My gut is telling me to just leave, but I honestly don't know. I made vows and she isn't able to look after herself. Guys, we're going to leave today's video there. I'd like you guys to leave some comments, leave your thoughts to this particular story here. But, it shares all the common themes, guys. You've got to be careful about this, because if you let society give you kind of the default narrative, the default belief system, you're going to walk out there thinking that everything, not everything is your fault as a man. Believe it or not, guys, like sometimes there is, no matter how much attention you give them, no matter how much things you do, people are just going to be the way that they are. Okay, and I'm so sick of men going out there blaming themselves for situations like this. Guys, a lot of times, like, the best thing you can do is walk away and not even put effort into people that don't appreciate you. Guys, we're going to leave today's episode there. As always, wrapping it up with the announcement, I'm going to be trying to set up a locals account. I'm waiting for community approval over there. But in the meantime, guys, if you would like to support the channel, the link to the Patreon is below the video somewhere. And as always, subscribe on your way out if you're new or if you enjoyed the video. Leave your thoughts, and we're going to call it there, guys. So as always, take care of yourselves, and I will see you boys in the next one. Peace.